Hi, Manners or Matrimony students. Thank you for joining us. This is our very first lesson entitled Man in the Mirror. We're going to go ahead and jump right in. As you can see on this slide, we have a couple questions. First question is, who do you see when you look in the mirror? Is that person who the world sees? So when you look in the mirror, do you see a big old aggressive lion, but the world sees a small little cute kitten? We want to know, and we want you to know, and we also want your mate to know. One of the reasons why we chose this lesson as our very first lesson is because we feel that this is one of the most important lessons within our program, is determining exactly who you are. Because when you know who you are, you can help yourself, but not only yourself, helping yourself help your mate as well. So, oftentimes it's very hard for us to see ourselves and much easier to see others. We want to be able to look at that man in the mirror, self diagnose that person that you see in the mirror, and then be able to teach your mate who you are as well as teach yourself who you are. Maybe there are some things that you haven't dealt with within yourself, and so they could be causing some issues or some minor issues or maybe even some major issues within your relationship because your mate just don't know. So we want to be able to do this program and do this lesson up front so that we can get these things out the way and then be able to better assess each other and help each other throughout the entire program so that we can go ahead and move on to a healthy and successful relationship.
So, in this lesson, we want you to define who you are. Uh, Quick ways to do that is just come up with three character traits for you as well as your mate. Another way is three things you do your mate may not like, and three things your mate does that you don't like but you can tolerate. Like I'll choose my wife. I'll give two positive traits for her. She's very loving. She's a very loving person. And then another positive is she's very honest. She's a very honest person. Now I'll do one negative about myself. They say I'm bullheaded.
So my husband, just really quickly, just giving two character traits about my husband that is very positive. He is someone that is very humble, and I want to go into that just a little bit deeper. He started the martial arts or karate when he was 4 years old. He got his black belt when he was 7 years old, and he was the youngest person within the karate school to get a black belt at that young age. And he was very talented. He didn't just get this belt because, someone liked the way he looked. No, he was very talented. But if you saw him throughout his daily life, you would never know that about him. Um, another thing that another character trait about him is he is very passionate about whatever it is that he does in life. Um, and then I'll go into a negative about myself. Uh, One negative about myself, which could be a gift and a curse, is that I am very honest. So that could be that could be something positive as well as something negative. So if you ever meet me in person, you'll see that I'm a very honest person, but I'm also very straightforward. So I don't know how to tell a lie. And if you ever saw the movie Liar, Liar, Liar with, or Liar, Liar, not Three Liars, is two. Liar, Liar with Jim Carrey. If you ever saw that movie, when it got to the end of the movie and he wasn't able to tell a lie, that is me. Like, I do not know how to tell a lie, and sometimes that can come off very um lack of tact.
Ish, yep.
So it can come off very lack of tactish, and so sometimes that's a gift and a curse. So just to reiterate, different ways that you can define who you are, and also who your mate, who is your mate, who are you, and who is your mate. Is the first step is determining three character traits for you, and then also determining three character traits for your mate. Another way is just to give three things that you do your mate may not like. So these are things that when you're self-diagnosing, you want to look at the positives within yourself as well as the negatives within yourself, and kind of critique yourself. And that may be a little hard, but that's why we just want you to do just choose three from each and just write those down and be very blunt with yourself and very honest with yourself. And then the third thing is just three things your mate does that you don't like, but maybe you can tolerate. So maybe your mate snores. You know, that's something that he or she may not be able to help, but it's something that drives you nuts, but you can tolerate that. So we just want you to write those things down. Then we also want you to take a personality assessment. And that assessment can be taken, if you just Google personality assessments, a million different websites should come up for you to go ahead and take that personality assessment. And that is just a way to um, get a non-judgmental uh, uh, a non-judgmental
Gauge.
gauge. Sorry about that. I couldn't get my words together, my thoughts together. But yeah, so that'll just give you a non-judgmental gauge as to exactly who you are, and what type of person you are. So, wrapping things up, at the end of each lesson, you'll see an accountability sheet. And on this accountability sheet, you'll see a list of things that we want you to do after each lesson. So, these are things that's not going to take too much time off your hands. We want you to do them really quickly, and it's probably best if you do it right after the lesson while it's fresh on your mind. I know if you're anything like me, once it's off of my mind, it's like out of sight, out of mind. And we don't want your relationship to be out of sight, out of mind. So we want you to go ahead, jot those things down right now while it's fresh on your mind, and just get these things out of the way. And the first thing we definitely want you to do is to take that personality assessment test. That is definitely a great gauge of who you are, and it'll definitely help you. So we just definitely want you to take that personality assessment test and have those results ready for us when we get on the one-on-one call with you all, as well as the group session with you all at the end of the month. So, and then the other thing we want you to do is just to write down your different characteristic traits. If you go back to the previous slide, you'll see those different traits that we listed that we want you to write down. If you are a single joining our program, so maybe you are in a relationship, but maybe your mate didn't want to join you. If that is you, we also want you to write down those things for yourself as well as your mate, just so that you'll be able to assess yourself, and then you can just have those things um, on hand for your mate, so that when your mate is ready to jump in and join us, we have those things ready and they're not left behind.
So with those character traits, you also want to try to identify them daily. Like I said, my wife's loving. She's very loving. So I want to try to identify her loving traits on a daily basis so that when they come up, I can identify them as being those traits. So with that being said, help us help you take the madness out of matrimony.